Nigeria is a very complex country. Our problem did not start yesterday. It started about 1884. Lord Lugard came here about 1894, and many people did not know the major. Lugard was not originally employed by British government. He was first employed by East Indian Company, the Royal East African Company, and then by the Royal Niger Company. It was from the Royal Niger Company that he transferred to the British government. Unless you know this background, you will not know the root causes of our problems. The interest of the European in Africa, and indeed Nigeria, was economic and is still economic. They have no permanent friend and no permanent interest. Neither their interests nor their friends are permanent. Nigeria was created as the British sphere of interest for business. In 1898, Lugard from the West African frontier, forced initially with 2,000 soldiers, and that was the beginning of our problems. Anybody who wants to know the roots cause of the coup and our present problems, and who does not know the evolution, Nigeria was just be looking at the matter superficially. Our problem started from that time, and Lugard was what they called at that time imperialists. A number of British soldiers, businessmen, politicians, we are very patriotic, but I must warn you, they were operating in the interest of our country. Lugard became a lord. Nigerians too should operate in the interest of their country. When Lugard from the West African frontier forced with 2,000 troops, about 90% of them were from the north, and mainly from the Middle Belt, and is dispatched to London between that time and January 1914 are extremely interesting. Lugard came here for a purpose, and that purpose was British interest between 1898 and 1914. He sent a number of dispatches to London, which led to the amalgamation of 1914. The order in council was drawn up in November 1913, signed and came into force in January 1914. In those dispatches, Lugard said a number of things which are the root causes of yesterday and today's problem. The British, indeed, the railway from the north to the coast in the interest of British of the south, not of the people, became of crucial importance to the British business interests. He said the north on the side should be amalgamated. Southern Nigeria came into existence in January 1900 at the century of the fall of Benin. I wrote a piece in number of paper, but before I published the piece, I sent a copy to the Oba of Benin. So when Benin was conquered in 1896, it made the creation of Southern Nigeria Protectorate possible on January 1st, 1900. If you remember, Sokoto was not conquered until 1903. So there was no question of Nigeria at that time. After the conquest of Sokoto, they were able to create the Northern Nigeria Protectorate. Lugard went full blast and created what was to be known as the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria. What is critical and important are the reasons Lugard gave in his dispatches. They are as follows. He said, the North is poor and they have no resource to run the Protectorate to the Protectorate of the North, that they have no access to the sea, that South has a resource and have educated people. The first Yoruba lawyer was called to the bar in 1861. Therefore, because it was not the policy of the British government to bring the taxpayers' money to run the Protectorate, it was in the interest of the British business and the British taxpayers that there should be amalgamation. But when the British amalgamated was the administration of the administration of the northern south, and not the people of the north and the south. That is one of the root causes of the problem of Nigeria and the Nigerians. When the amalgamation took effect, the British government sealed off the South from the North, and between 1914 and 1960, that is a period of 46 years, the British allowed minimum contact between the North and South because it was not in the British interest that the North not be allowed to be polluted by the educated South. That was the basis on which we got our independence in 1960. When I was in the parliament, I entered parliament on December 12, 1959, when the North, from its political party, the Northern leader, called it Northern People's Congress, NPC. They didn't call it Nigeria People's Congress. That was in accordance with the dictum of policies of Lugard. When Aminu Kano, from his own party, it was called, when he formed his own party, it was called Northern Element Progressive Union, not Nigeria Progressive Union. It was only Awolowo and Azikiwe who were mistaken that there was anything called Nigeria. In fact, the so-called Nigeria created in 1914 was a complete fraud. It was created not in the interest of Nigeria or Nigerians, but in the interest of the British. And where are the structure created? Okay. The structure created were as follows. Northern Nigeria was to represent England. Western Nigeria like Wales. Eastern Nigeria was to be like Scotland. In the British structure, England has permanent majority in the House of Commons. There was no way can ever dominate England. Okay. Neither can Scotland dominate Britain, but they are very straight. They would allow a Scottish man to become prime minister. They would allow a Welsh to become prime minister in London, but the England. That was what Lugard created in Nigeria, a permanent majority for the North. The population figure of the North is also a fraud. In fact, a British colonial civil servant who was involved in the fraud was trying to expose it, but he was never allowed to publish it. The analysis is as follows. If you look at the map of West Africa, starting from Mauritania to Cameroon and take a population of each country as you move from the coast to the savannah, the population decreases. Or conversely, as you come from the desert to the coast, right from Mauritania to Cameroon, the population increases. The only exception throughout the zone is Nigeria. Nigeria is the only zone where by you go from coast to the north, the population increases, and you come from the north to the coast, the population decreases. Well, geographers, anthropologists, and population experts, draw your conclusions. Some have told me the last population census was done by computer. What a nonsense. Okay, so amalgamation of North into Nigeria by Lugard was a fraud, according to Akinjide SAN, and he has said what he thinks about this whole thing, and people have been saying it. Of course, if you have not heard about it, at least you will hear it from Nnamdi Kanu. For those who have not heard it, if you are feigning ignorant, of course, a lot of people would attest to the fact that yes, if they've not heard it, they've been hearing it from Nnamdi Kanu, and the majority of the people know, but nobody bothers to just look at it. They will tell you, oh, now that one go help us, now that one go put food for our table, but you have been hearing it. If you want to hear more about all of these things, go to Nnamdi Kanu's page. You will hear everything. He has been saying it for as many that care to listen. Well, how does that affect us these days? How do we go from here? They have done what they needed to do, but now we can do what we need to do, but yet we still have those who are still holding us bound. We are still in the second slavery again by ourselves. So who is going to help us? It is we that we help ourselves. Those who have committed whatever they've committed, bringing Nigeria together, they've done and they've gone. It is not our responsibility to set the record straight if we are ready as a people. So guys, let's hear your opinion. Leave your comment below and let's have your take. Thank you.